Hello, hello, hello. Welcome once again to another Stogie411 show. And as you can tell, I'm the sexy one here with the old Mike, Mr. Michael Williams. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, brother. That's right, the old Mike. I'm here with the young Mike, but I'm the old sexy Mike, as I like to refer to myself as. So. But anyways, yeah, today we're doing another You Ask It show. We're light in the chat room today, which we were figuring it's vacation time, it might be, but we figured it was a good time to do this. We always get a good response with people asking, questions. And remember, this is just our opinions. We're not experts. We're not professionals. We're just two idiots trying to give you information on what we think the answers are to these
everything
puzzles.
I say is gold, so, Yeah.
That's true. So I'm the idiot, and don't believe half of the shit I tell you today. But anyway, so we got some questions. We're not sure how long the show will be. It'll go as long as we have questions, and we'll do our best to try to answer it. So you want to take the first one there, Skippy?
Yeah, and I just want to tell everybody, if you're not in the chat room, if you're watching somewhere else, you can either tweet us on Twitter at Stogie411. You can email we probably won't get during the show. The easiest way would be to come into the chat and actually ask a question if you have a question for us here. So I'm going to just start off with number one here. Rick asked us, what are some of your favorite cigars you smoked so far this year?
All right. You want me to take it off? All right. Well, let's see. I've smoked one cigar that I've been smoking a really lot of is the EPC, the Edición Limitada 2013. Ernesto was nice enough to send both of us some, and I'll tell you, I've been smoking them like crack. I really dig the Jericho Hill and the Las Calaveras by Crown Heads, and another one that I'm really enjoying is the Nat Sherman 1930. That's another cigar that, in my opinion, I think has a good shot at being cigar of the year. I really, really enjoy that cigar. I enjoy the complexity and the flavors of that cigar. But I'll tell you, all four of those cigars I talked about, I think are totally amazing cigars, and I would say they're probably about the top four that I've been smoking. I did have the other day, my first one. I had what is it, the Tatuaje
the tattoo? Yeah,
I believe it was. I really enjoyed that one too. I only had one. It was my first time smoking it, so I really couldn't, So the other one.
And that's a lower cost smoke too. The tattoo.
It is a lower. Well, not here in New York, but yes, it is a lower cost smoke if you look at MSRP. But so those are about the 4 or 5 favorites that I've smoked so far this year. How about you?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is Sam Lucia's Luchador. I literally fell in love with that cigar. I mean, I think it has the flavors, the complexity, everything going for it, where, the white and black were okay to me. I like the white better than the black, but the Luchador, I just think he just threw those barn doors open and came out a storming with that thing. The 1930, again, like you said, is, oh my God. I mean, if you even remotely like the Timeless, which most people love that thing, you're going to absolutely love the 1930, I think. I think it's better than the Timeless, which is hard to do. I mean, the Timeless is so good.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
What else have I been smoking here? I just picked up some of the Cabal smokes today, so I haven't smoked them yet. I'm interested in trying those because of what the word's been, what people have been saying and everything about them. What else? The Jericho Hill. I mean, I've only had one so far, and it was up there. It was, I liked it, and I'm gonna have to smoke more to really get an opinion on it. A lot of the new stuff from IPCPR this year hasn't really hit stores yet, for the most part.
Right.
So kind of lean right now on picking things up. The Camacho, was it Ecuador, the blue label? That was good.
I haven't had that.
It's not up there with like the 1930 or the Luchador or anything like it, but for a solid smoking cigar, I think it's a nice cigar.
Yeah.
What are you telling people what you're smoking now, by the way?
Oh, actually, I'm smoking. Mike and I got some samples from JR Cigars, and I'm smoking the black. I'll point it up here. The Black Abyss. This is my second one smoking it. I really don't know price point. I haven't looked it up. They sent us a 5-pack, I believe it was. This is my second one. I smoked the bigger ring gauge, and now I'm smoking the Robusto. And I'll tell you, I'm liking it. If I had to guess, I'm probably banking it's somewhere between $5 and $6 cigar. I'm assuming. I could be wrong, but I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. It's a nice. I'd say it's probably more of a medium to low full, as you get farther down. But nice flavors, nice taste on my palate. I'm digging it. What are you smoking?
I have the right camera. Let me get the right camera here. LFD Cameroon Cabinet. I've been picking these up every single time I've come up here. I tried the Lancero in it. I did not care for the Lancero in this. I like this Robusto size a lot better than the Lancero, which actually that's another question coming down through the road here, I believe. But
we're jumping ahead.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those cigars that if you can find it and you like Cameroon, just grab it. I mean, it's thoroughly enjoyable for a cigar.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging. I'm enjoying this cigar. So Rick, there you go. There's a few suggestions. I hope we touch base on some cigars that maybe you haven't tried yet. Give it a try. I'm pretty confident in what both of us suggested.
And now you do have to remember, Mike. Even though Mike's not doing reviews anymore, Mike still smokes a lot of different cigars, just like me. So we're not. Yeah. We all have those old favorites that we go back to. Like I love the New Wave Connecticut. I love the Oliva Connecticut. Because I'm more of a mild to medium smoker. I mean, the CAO Gold Double Corona is absolute favorite. I went through boxes of those things already. But for newer cigars, that we were trying to say, that's what I would say was our opinion on those. So.
Exactly, I agree with you. All right, well, let's get on to question number 2. This one's it's when the question came up, I was like, oh man, it's been a while since we talked to this guy. At least I have, and I don't know how to answer. But John asked a question. He said, "Hey, where did Matt go, and why did he leave?" So
I honestly, he had a lot of other projects he was working on, and he didn't want to devote less time to us in order to get the other things done. So it was like a mutual thing where he decided, he's going to just go ahead and do his other projects, and we'll just take care of doing everything in the back end that he used to do, And Matt helped us get all this stuff set up. He was there from the beginning. Mike's end just says that the internet connection is not good enough for. Uh-oh. Now we lost him. We lost Mike. All right. I'm taking over the show. This is now my show. But anyway, that's oh, there he's back. That's what Matt's been doing now, and I haven't talked to Matt in a little while either myself. I haven't seen much of him on Twitter or anything else, so he might really be just busy with all those other projects he was working on.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Mike?
What's that?
Can you hear me? Because I lost your video there.
I can hear you.
Okay, because we kind of went dead there for a minute. I see that on the air. We kind of went dead. So I don't know if you heard Mike or if you not, but the question was that John asked was, where's Matt and why did he leave? And Mike pretty well touched on it, that Matt's been pretty busy. When he did leave us, he had a lot of projects going on, and he really didn't want to, hurt us in any way and not giving us the time and stuff that we needed. But I believe Matt still has cigar porn. I'm not sure if he does, but I will say it. I know Mike said it. I'm not sure if you guys heard it, but Matt was a big part of the show in the beginning, and he did a lot to help us and to get us where we are today. So we appreciate it, and we hope to hear from Matt soon. So thanks, John, for the question, and why don't you go on and take number 3 there, Mikey?
Well, I'm actually, I don't know why my video has gone away in Skype.
Yeah, I don't see it, but I can hear you.
So. All right, well, question number 3 is from Paula. She asks, what recommendation as a new cigar and a female cigar smoker would you give as to the best way to start smoking cigars?
Well, let's see. First of all, I'll say, Paula, welcome to the family. Welcome to the wonderful world of cigars. I don't think either way, as a male or a female, there's a real preference. I would say, if you're just starting out, I would say probably start off with a mild to medium cigar. I'd say mild. I would try as many different types of cigars as you can, taking your time really to. I would probably actually say start off with a smaller ring gauge, so you can really get some flavors and complexity out of a smaller ring gauge before you move yourself up into different vitolas. But I would say stick with a mild to a low medium. Try a whole bunch of different cigars. I personally would say just stay away from the flavored cigars. I think if there's a place for it. I think sometimes it gets stereotyped that it's only for women. I think that's wrong. I would say just start off mild and medium. Start off with smaller vitolas, maybe a Corona, a Robusto, and just go from there and go to a B&M and really sit down, talk to people. Don't be afraid to ask questions because we all started out in the beginning, and we're still not experts by any means, but just try a vast amount of different cigars, and you'll find out what you like, and you'll find out what you don't like. And again, don't be afraid to ask questions. I guess that's my 2 cents. So what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. That's the first thing I was going to say is go to a real cigar shop. Not a gas station, not anything like that. Go to a real cigar shop that has a tobacconist working there that you can actually talk to. And because they're going to be full of information where if you just walk into the humidor, you're going to be like, what the hell is all this? It's one of those things, and I agree with Mike, start with something milder, and you can always move up. But if you start with a super full-bodied cigar and you don't like it, it's going to kind of hinder you wanting to try it again. So start, like I was saying in the beginning, like the Oliva Connecticut's, the EP Carrillo New Waves, even like the 724s. I mean, that's another one that I've been enjoying, by the way. The 1874 it is. Oh, my God. Got some more of them today, too.
Right.
Start off like that and just, don't worry about accessories right off the bat. The shop you go to will have cutters, will have lighters that you can use, and you can always you'll build up as you go, and you'll find what you like and what you prefer. What type of cut you prefer. Like Mike and I talked about numerous times. V cut, straight cut, punch cut. There's all kinds of different things out there you can do. Hell, bite the end off. It's kind of amazing, but it's just great that you're looking at starting and you're looking forward to getting into it. And I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, ask them. Give us some detailed question, and we'll see if we can help you out.
Yep, absolutely. We'd be happy to. And then again, thanks for chiming in. Send us an email. We appreciate that. Looks like Frank's got a question in the chat room. I'll go ahead and take that if you want.
I'm gonna try to fix my camera here so people might see my Skype stuff up on screen.
All right, well, I'll answer it, and then you chime in. Frank's got a good question. He said, what's the future of Stogie411? What do you guys have in store for the viewers, future guests, and all? Well, Frank, that's a good question. The future of Stogie411 is Mike and I have no plans on pulling a plug or anything like that. We plan on plugging along long as our health is fine and we can, financially do it. We've been doing it 3 years, probably 2 years, mostly on our own financially. As you see, we don't have a lot of sponsors. Tobacco companies always been nice to us to allow us to use their internet, which is awesome. Yeah, Frank, we plan on continue. As far as the future, we have some guests coming up. I think you'll be interested in. We have some new, some old. We don't like to give it away. We like to keep it out there in the promo to keep you piqued and interested. We probably will do when our anniversary comes back up next year. We'll probably do another anniversary show where that's the one time of the year that the manufacturers, we reach out to them. Mike and I have a philosophy. We never ask for freebies. We never ask for giveaways. The only time we ever do it is when we have our anniversary show, when we give 100% of that. Plus, we put in our own finances to give away to our viewers because our viewers mean a lot to us. So that show we'll be giving away a lot of stuff. But we're not fans of this, giveaway stuff every show just to give viewers. We think that we bring something to our viewers that our loyal viewers really enjoy. And Frank, yourself, Foozer, Johnny, there's a whole bunch of you, I can go down the list, that are always loyal to us. And we've always said from day one that, we'll do this show as long as we have one viewer. So I would say that's probably it, Frank. So, we're going to continue to grow, always try to bring you honest interviews, always ask questions, whether they're tough or not. We try to be respectful to all our guests, but we also try to, we don't hold back. We don't really, we ask the hard questions sometimes that maybe they don't want to answer.
Yeah, we don't try to throw anybody under the bus, but
yeah, we don't do that. So what do you think, Mike? I mean, that's pretty much it, right? The gist of it.
I don't know. I'm quitting in about 5 minutes, so
You're quitting in 5 minutes. Okay, Frank, that was it, man. We're done here. Nice seeing you, and but that's it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty it. Mike and I, we enjoy doing it. It's a lot of work. Mike's got to lug a lot of equipment around. It's time away from our families, but it's time for us we get to sit back, talk with each other. We have fun. We get to interact with you guys in the chat room and the manufacturers and the B&Ms and the bloggers. So it's fun.
And I actually get out of the house.
That's why we keep doing it. Yeah, there you go.
I'm actually allowed to leave the house. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But the only upcoming issue might be with me. But other than that, I mean, we'll let that go until if something ever happens. But
yeah. I won't. He's got another question, Mike, but I'm not going to touch that one. I'm going to let you touch that.
I saw that, and Frankie's asking about why IPCPR doesn't like new media. Why is some blogging sites like CFED and Half Squeal and numerous other can go, and Stogie Review seemed like it wasn't invited. Actually, we were. We could have went.
Right. That's why I didn't want to touch it.
It just comes down to there's a lot of back end stuff, and I don't want to get into it, out in the public, but there's just differences of opinion and things that aren't being done the way some people think they should be done, blah blah blah. So, I think it'd be great if someday if Stogie411 go to IPCPR and set up a booth and actually do live show directly from there with the manufacturers telling us about their new stuff. I think that would be great, but
Well, we did talk about that.
Remember
when we had we had Kirk Kendall on? We talked about him bringing in his old Chevy there and doing a live show from the back of the Chevy. So you never know, that may turn out to be something. Someday.
I mean, Mike's going to B&M and done a show from there, and we've done show from Delaware Cigar Festival last year. So we'll see.
We will see. We'll see what happens. So, but thanks for the question, Frank. Good questions, and again, thanks for taking time out. Again, as always, we always appreciate you guys. We got some real loyal fans, and Stogie411 will continue onward and hopefully grow and grow and grow. So, Mike, why don't you take question number 4 we have that came in via email from Bruce.
All right. Bruce says, do you think manufacturers are making, now I think it's too many lines, or is it just marketing?
Right.
Too many lines. I'm going to go right out and say it. There are so many good cigars out there right now, and you've heard it on the show. Who was it? Was it Sam Lucia that said it? The first question that comes up from everybody is, "Oh, what's next?" I can't remember which guest said that. I don't know why Sam's sticking in my head.
Yeah.
And that is, everybody keeps getting asked that. What's next? Well, you also got to look at what you already have. When you have enough cigars that you could fill an entire humidor of a cigar shop with your own stuff, I just can't see how everything is selling that good that you can hold on to all those products. But, some do, some don't. It's now limited releases and things like that, that's kind of getting crazy.
Right.
You know, I can understand here and there, but some of this stuff is just getting nuts. And you know, I'm not even thinking like Pete's, you know, the Monster series and stuff from Tatawahi. I'm not even thinking that. That's something that was a yearly thing for all these years now. You know, it's coming out every year. You know, that I'm not too concerned about. It's just all these special things, and all of a sudden the special thing turns into a full release, and it really wasn't a special thing, and I don't know. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, no, you know, it's like this, and I've said it before to manufacturers on the show. You know, last year, Dion, he went to IPCPR. He didn't come out with anything new. You see, for the most part, Fuente, Padron. Now, granted, they're, in my opinion, they're in a different, I hate to say class, but they're in a different place than, you know, some of these other manufacturers are. I don't think you have to come out with new stuff every year, but I do think that the business aspect of it is that it's driven that as a consumer, people want to see new stuff all the time. My problem with it is two things. Point one is sometimes as a cigar smoker, I have a walk-in humidor. I forget about some of last year's stuff that's still sitting in my humidor. You know what I mean? Because I think myself, I'm so focused on a lot of the new stuff. My other problem with it is I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to say it because it's gonna stir a whole bunch of shit. I don't even want to do it. I don't think there's a need for it, but I think from a business point of view, as a manufacturer, they have to do it. I think especially if you're a small guy just starting out, or you've been in the business a few years, you really have to get out there, you know, get past your freshman cigar and start producing more. So I see it. Myself, yeah, I think there's a lot of cigars, good or bad, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I don't know, but yeah, I think there's way too much stuff coming out to keep up with everything.
Yeah, it is, and I agree. You know, like with the newcomers to the business, I mean, yeah, you definitely have to get your cigars out there, and you have to have a couple releases, you know, even to start being able to see a profit that you can continue to manufacture what you're doing. But you know, it comes to a point in time where do you want 50, 60, 70 cigar lines out there? You know,
right. Well, I said I wasn't going to say it, but you know what? Now I just realized that I'd be a hypocrite because I said we were going to be open and honest. The thing that pisses me off more than anything is when manufacturers, and not all of them do it, but some do, and I won't call you out, but it's like every time they come out with one, it's like, this is the best one I ever created.
Yeah.
And then the next cigar is, this was the best one. This was, and I know, you know, you can get better and better with time, but does it always have to be this is the best one? Because it might not be the best one. You know, that's the only thing that burns my ass when certain manufacturers say that. And again, I'm not going to call anybody out because that's not how I operate, but I had to say it because then I was being a hypocrite saying that we would be honest all the time and open, and I wasn't doing it.
There you go. That's how you do it.
So there's my honest answer. But anyways. Well, let's take another question from the chat room because now they're booming in with questions and we got tons of them. So, Old School Wife says, what cigar releases are you most looking forward to trying? So, what are you looking forward to trying?
Hands down, Seniorial. Seniorial.
Oh, Seniorial. Yeah, that would be on my list as well.
I mean, I love Jose Blanco. I mean, I've really enjoyed most of the cigars he's been involved with, and he's just such a great person to meet. I mean, he just comes off on you, you know, where it's just you just want to try something that he's bringing out. You know, that's just the way you feel.
Right.
That is the hands down #1 cigar I am looking forward to trying if I can ever get my hands on it.
Right. I'm looking forward to trying and I'm going to butcher the name. I apologize already. The Norteño by Willie Herrera. I'm looking forward to trying that cigar. That's definitely one that I definitely want to get my hands on. And I'm also looking forward to trying the Untamed by La Aurora.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are probably my two cigars that I'm looking forward to trying. So hopefully, old school wife, that'll answer your questions. Why don't we go back to the emails, Mike, and then we'll come back to the chat.
Alrighty. Well, you want to take it? Number 5.
Where did we leave? Oh, you answered Bruce's question, right? All right. Joe's got a question that he sent in to us. He says, I'm thinking of starting a cigar blog. What issues may I run into? Oh, let's see,
How long
Joe.
is the show?
This could take the whole show if I open this can of worms. This is going to take the whole show. Let's see. I'll narrow it down. I'm not sure what kind of cigar blog you're thinking of starting. First of all, so I'm going to assume that you're going to start a review site. So I'm going to go with that. If it's not right, then you'll probably still run into the same issues. If it's something like what we do, starting your own site. The one thing I'm going to tell you. Take whatever number and time you think it's going to cost you to do, let's just say, a review and multiply that by 5. It's a lot of time. Yeah. Takes a lot of time away from your family. I don't know if you have family. I would say reach out to most of the cigar sites that are on Twitter. They will help and guide you. I know when I started out with Mike Stogie's, which I closed a year ago, Mike and Tom and Dave over at the Cigar Nut, those guys were always great to me and helped me out. But I would say just be true to yourself. I would say that's probably the number one advice I can give you. You're going to have people that disagree with you. If you're sensitive, I would say don't start a review site, because you're gonna get some people that totally disagree with you. But I would say just be honest. Don't be afraid to say you didn't enjoy something. Don't be afraid to tell a manufacturer that, hey, you know what? No, that cigar, I didn't enjoy that cigar. In a respectful way. Be respectful, but be honest. That's my two pieces of advice, I would say. But issues, you're gonna run into a lot. And like I said, this is an hour show. We'll be going well over the hour if I tell you. Yeah. What advice do you have, Mike?
Well, the number one thing, and I'm like you said, we're being true and honest here, so I'm gonna say it right out. Do not ask for samples. If you ask manufacturer for samples, you're a total douchebag asshole. How about that? How's that for being honest? I can understand if there's a new cigar coming out that you want to try, but when you email manufacturers or get in contact with them and say, oh, I want to review this cigar, give me it so I can review a legitimate review. Hopefully I'm still coming through live for everybody else. I'm going to keep answering. It looks all right on my Wirecast screen, so I'm hoping. But buy them yourself. Buy the cigars and smoke them. If you're offered the cigars, sure, you take them. Take them and try them and see what happens. But if you don't go out of your way to ask for samples, the next thing is, like Mike said, the time factor. You're going to need a lot of time, and make sure you do your research that it's right. And yeah, Mike's all blocky and freaky looking, but I don't know. He might look better this way.
I'm having internet problems. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing you guys coming back.
It might be Skype too.
My end. Yeah, it could be Skype. But as long as they can still hear us,
I think they can hear you now. But yeah, I mean, for starting the site, that's the major thing I would say is, buy your own stock to smoke, and as time progresses, manufacturers might start to send you samples. You might get samples at shows. That's perfectly fine. But just don't send me this or I'm going to give you a bad review. That's douchebag asshole right there. Yeah. But and be honest. Like Mike said, if you don't like a cigar, you don't like it. Respectfully honest. There you go.
That's all. All right. Well, Fooza's got the last 6 months. What's been the best Stogie guys?
Wait a minute here. I think let me ask that question. I don't think people can hear you, Mike. You're breaking up something fierce here on my end with the video and everything. I think he asked about his humidor. Is that the one you were asking, Mike? Bien.
Well, can you hear me now?
Kind of. Go ahead and try.
He asked the first question was, what last 6 months, what's been the best Stogie you guys smoked? But we answered question 1. So, yeah, I guess his next question would be the humidor. Go ahead, and if you can hear me, I'll answer.
Okay. Yeah, he says about his humidor being so irregular there in New York City, weather is unpredictable. Humidity is 64, 65, 67, but the degree is constant, 75 to 77 degrees. How can I fix this?
Okay. If you can you hear me before I answer this and go into it? Okay, Foozer, answer me this quick. Oh, no, it's Frank, right? Frank, what size humidor do you have, first of all? Because it's going to vary. I have a walk-in humidor in my stairs, and I have a pretty sophisticated humidification system that goes through the wall. It has reverse osmosis. So for me to answer, I really need to know what kind of, if you have a cabinet humidor, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of that electronic thing, the humidification system. I had it. It caught on fire. I think the best thing to do, even in a cabinet humidor, is to get the Bovita packs. I think that's the best way to get your humidity. The thing that you got to keep in mind, even with temperature and humidity, the best place if you can store it, like mine's in the basement. I never get too hot. I never get too cold. It's just, to me, is the ideal place to store your cigars. If you can do that, that's great. But if you can't, if you have so he has a 200 count box, yeah, I would definitely, Frank, go with the Bovita packs. If you put a 65 or a 70 Bovita pack in there, it's going to maintain it, unless your humidor isn't sealed properly.
Right.
If you're losing humidity, that could be your reason why. So check that, but try to put it in a cool place in your house, a place that's shady, a place that's not.
Yeah, that's the main concern I have, is the temperature being 75 to 77. That should be lower. That I would definitely look for a different place to put that. If it's a 200 count, make sure you don't have it in the sun. Even if you take it and put it underneath like a bed or something, just to keep it out of the sun, put it somewhere darker where it stays a little cooler. Humidity, I totally agree with Mike. Bovita packs, I love them. But don't just put one in there. Put 3 or 4. Yeah. Really, you could put 50 of them in there if you wanted to. It's not going to matter. But yeah, 3 or 4 should do good. And I mean, I've had Bovita packs last me months and months. In some humidors, other humidors, they don't last that long. It just depends how well the seal is and how much the humidity fluctuates. If there's no other way for you to get that temperature down, then you're looking at expensive options, which would be, like one of the electronic humidors that has the built-in heating and cooling and humidification, and then you're talking $1,000 or more. So. Bovita or
Boozer, I would go with Bovita. I would not. I'd stay away from cigar beads. I'm not a fan of them. I think they get a nasty color, and to me, I don't know if they give off a taste or do anything to your cigars. I'd stay away from it. Just go with the packs, and you'll have no problem.
I mean, I know people who use kitty litter. Dave, he comes on here in the show. He swears by kitty litter in his coladors that he made. For me, Bovita packs have never let me down, and they just work great. Beads, you can spill them if they're not in the right container. Sometimes if they crack apart, you'll get fine dust in there. I'm not a bead fan at all, like Mike.
That's what I heard. Anyway. But yeah, I hope that answered your question, Frank. Hopefully that helps you. If there's anything else you want to ask, if we get off the air or anything, just send me an email with your phone number. I'd be happy to give you a call and see if I could help you at any. Not that I'm an expert, but I'll see what I could do to help you. So, all right, let's see. Tom's got a question that he emailed in us. He says, has there been any manufacturers that you have had issues with while doing your shows? Yes. But in respect to the manufacturers, with not knowing all the details, I'm not going to call them out. But yes, we have. My biggest complaint is this when it comes to manufacturers that say they're going to do our show. Now, here, keep this in mind. When we book our shows, we book them months easily in advance, sometimes longer, okay? Now, the one thing that pisses me off, and I'm going to say it straight out, is when up to 2 weeks before the show that your time to come on, I am constantly DMing or emailing this manufacturer or B&M or blogger when they're coming on our show. Hey, just a touch base. Okay. when the day of the show comes and you're supposed to be on our show and you're doing something else and you say, oh, I forgot I'm going to be here, to me that's a cop-out, and I'm sorry. We're in a day of age where we have iPads, iPhones, Android phones that will remind you of when you have something to do. It'll remind you in a month. It'll remind you in a week. It'll remind you in an hour. It'll remind you in 15 fucking minutes. So to me, that pisses me off, and yes, it has happened. And yes, I will not say who, but to me, it is bullshit. And that's my
Still love the cigars, though.
I still love their cigars, absolutely, and I'm sure they're good people. But to me, we don't get paid to do this. We're giving you an hour of free advertisement. If you make a date plan with us, I expect you to keep it. Unless something comes up and you let us know prior, I'm okay with that because we reschedule.
Yeah, family emergencies, things like that.
Exactly. But to tell me, oh, I forgot about it is bullshit.
That kind of hurts the feelings a little bit right there.
Yeah, so to me, yes, it has happened, and to me, it's bullshit, and there you go.
Yeah,
That's my
other than that, the only other problem we've had is, well, you might find out in, I guess, 2 weeks because Michael Herklotz is coming back on, I believe, and every time he comes on, something breaks.
Yes, but please don't break our shit again, Mike.
I had to build a whole new computer last time, I think. But yeah, no, other than that, it's been pretty good. We've been pretty blessed with getting them and
it has.
Them being on time.
Yeah, Frank, we'll get more bloggers on the show, Frank. I agree with you. We've it's funny. It's like when we first started out, we were in the beginning, we were having trouble getting manufacturers to come on. Now the manufacturers are asking us to come on. So we've been leaning more towards the manufacturer side, and unfortunately we've been ignoring some bloggers. So we will not ignoring them. We just haven't reached out to them. So we will do that in the upcoming year. We will do our best to get more bloggers on. I agree with you, Frank.
Well, let's do number 7. Jimmy asked.
Jimmy.
Big ring gauge or small? Your thoughts? And go ahead.
Well, we were talking about this before in pre-show, Mikey and I was, and I said to him, I said, man, I'm smoking more smaller ring gauges now. And I'm going to tell you why. And I got to give props to my boy, Mr. John Hubert, and this is why.
Ass kisser.
He sent me, I am an ass kisser. He sent me some Jericho Hill. And when he did, I sent one to Mike for his birthday. And I smoked a bigger ring gauge. Now, John's known not to make big ring gauge. He's made it clear. But I dug it. And then he said to me, listen, do me a favor and just smoke the Corona. And when I smoked the Corona, I was like, holy shit, this is way better than the other sizes. So now I find myself going into my humidor, and I don't have a lot because I've always been a big ring gauge fan, 56 and up. I'm smoking more Coronas and, Robustos and Lanceros. I'm smoking smaller ring gauges now. More so, I'm looking for them first before I grab it. So right now, I've changed a little bit. I'm smoking the smaller ring gauges. Not that I won't smoke a bigger one, but I'm smoking more smaller ring gauges now. What about you?
I've always smoked some of the smaller ones. Now, if you've been following my Lancero collection reviews I've been doing for the Tatawahe, I was telling Mike before the show, almost every one of them has been like perfect so far. And that's the major problem I had with the smaller ring gauge like Lanceros and things. Touch-ups, read lights, didn't burn right, blah, blah, blah. And if they're done properly, they smoke really well and taste really good. But I still like some cigars in a bigger ring gauge. And the number one that comes into mind is the Rocky Patel Ocean Club. Now, that's an exclusive, I think, for like Holtz. But I've tried the different sizes, and the 60 ring gauge is the best one, I think, out of all of them. I think I sent you some, didn't I?
Yeah, it's a killer ring gauge. Listen, big ring gauges are great.
Yeah, it's, and you really have to find what's your preference. Some cigars, you could smoke a cigar that if it has 5 different sizes, you could smoke all 5 of them and really only like one. And that's the hardest thing for cigar smokers to do because you have to buy 5 of them, until you find out. But, that's really the way to do it is like a vertical tasting. And it'd be nice if more manufacturers would bring out packs. with all the different sizes in one pack. That way you could buy one pack to try their cigars, and you have the whole line right there, and you can figure out which you like the best. But that's another story.
Right. Right. Yeah, so I would say switch it up. I think you're going to find switching up's a good thing, too, because you're going to, let's be honest, I mean, I'm a believer you can still get complexity flavors out of big ring gauges. I don't care what anybody says. But I do think you get some different nuances when you smoke a smaller ring gauge. Of course, you're getting more of that wrapper flavor than you are in a bigger ring gauge. The bigger ring gauge tends to be a little more airy. But I would say just mix it up, because now I'm mixing it up, and I got to tell you, I'm finding new things in the same cigar in a different Vitola. So I'd say just mix it up.
Well, and another thing.
Man, I got a wicked itchy nose.
Another thing with that's all right, you can pick it. With my area, I like more mild to medium cigars a lot of the times. And I notice a lot if I go for a bigger ring gauge in some of the more powerful cigars, it actually brings the power down a little bit. And which is weird, because you would think it'd have more Ligero or whatever in it, but I guess they don't put more of the expensive filler in. So it kind of cuts it down a little. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like you have to find your sweet point or your sweet spot. But I'm like Mike. I'm smoking all the different sizes really now, and enjoying different sizes and different cigars. Well, Payback is a good one. I don't know if you smoked that yet. The Room 101 Payback.
I'm not a
the
fan
big
of
ring
it.
gauge, the big one. I didn't care for. It was kind of plain, but the smaller one was better.
Yeah. I haven't had the smaller one, so I will say what I've smoked of the Payback and the bigger ring gauge, not a fan at all. But maybe I got to try a smaller Vitola. Maybe I will. I don't know, but we'll see. All right, you want to take Scott's, and then we'll jump over to the chat room.
Scott asks, "I'm new to cigar world. What does it mean when someone says their cigar is a puro?" That's an easy one.
Means puro to the garbage. No, I'm only kidding.
It's all from one country. Nicaraguan puro is wrapper binder fillers from Nicaragua. If it's a Dominican puro, it's all from Dominican, Honduran, whatever. That's exactly what it is. That's
I can't add anything to it. That's it in a nutshell.
So yeah, I mean, there's some people out there, which actually is another question I think somewhere. About different countries, if you tend to like Nicaraguan tobacco more, you might like a Nicaraguan puro more than a Dominican puro. So,
actually, that's the next question after we ask Frank. We'll ask Frank's question.
Yeah,
Frank's got another good question. Hey, that's all right. Go ahead. That's what we're here for. So, would it be possible to get sales reps on the show? I feel they interact more with the consumer, and that it's an even closer feel to and can relate to us more. Yeah, I mean, it's here's the problem with getting sales reps, in my opinion. Most of the time, when we try to get guests for the show, we either DM on Twitter or we email them, okay? So most of the time, unless we're in a brick and mortar, we don't really have contact with the sales rep. So it's kind of tough to get a sales rep on, because we're usually getting the manufacturer on. What I would suggest, Frank, is if there's a particular sales rep, get his information, email it to us, and we'll be happy to get in touch with him and get him on the show. I mean, we would definitely. And the other,
I think. Well, I was going to say the other hard thing about with the sales reps is a lot of them do events over from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday.
Exactly. That was the other point I was going to make. So, yeah, it's definitely harder, but definitely, it's not out of the question. We'd be happy to do it. I would say if you have a rep, tell him to send us his contact information, and we'd be happy to get him on the show. We have no problem with that at all. The more the merrier.
Yeah, and he can be more of a local area and tell people what's going on there, and that'll be great.
Absolutely. So, all right, well, Roberto's question, you want me to take it, or? All right, Roberto kind of hints off to what Mike just asked a minute ago. He said, I smoke more Dominican Republican cigars than any other cigars. What are your guys' favorite tobacco and why? I really don't have a particular, I'm not, I don't smoke just DR. I don't smoke just Nicaraguan. I don't smoke just Cubans. I don't smoke, I smoke a vast general population of cigars. I will say that when it comes to the tobacco, I do tend to like the complexity that I get from Nicaraguan tobacco. So I would say I'm not saying I lean more towards it. I do say when I smoke that, there's characteristics of that tobacco that I tend to enjoy.
Yeah, you like those leaves from Washington and Colorado.
Yeah, no. I do enjoy a Swisher Sweet now and then. No, but I would say, you know, there's no particular tobacco that I like better than any other, but I do enjoy the complexity I get, I think, from a Nicaraguan tobacco than I get from a Dominican. So that's just my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, you know, I'm all over the board too with that one, just because of how many different cigars that I smoke. I do like the complexity coming out of Nicaragua. I think Nicaragua is at a peak for what is coming out of there. I mean, it's just amazing, some of the stuff. You know, wrapper. I love Cameroon wrapper. I love the Brazilian Matafina wrapper. You know, I love Connecticut wrapper. You know, it's hard to narrow down just one specific country for me. And I know guys are like that, though. You know, some guys like Dominican Republic. Some guys like Honduran. You know, I'm just not that way. I think the complexities that you can get by blending a multitude of countries' tobacco into one cigar can do so much for the flavor profile that I don't want to miss that just by sticking with one country. So,
right. No, I agree with you. I agree with you there. And we're going to save Old School Wife's question for the very last question, because I think it's hilarious that it's being asked to us for the very first time in 3 years. So we're going to save that question for the last question of the show. So, Old School Wife, we will get to that question. It's going to be the last question. We're going to end it just like we end it when we have someone on our show. So, awesome. Thanks for asking that question, because no one's asked us that ever. But we're going to move on to Pete's question.
All right. Pete asks, why are manufacturers doing more 50-count boxes? Seems too pricey to buy for me. Your thoughts, please.
All right. Well, here's why they're doing it. The only idea that I could have is, believe it or not, it's probably cheaper for them to do a 50-count box than it is to do a 10 or a 20. So as a manufacturer, looking at it, I'm going to look at it through the manufacturer's eyes for a minute. I could see why they're doing that, okay, to cut down costs, which in turn, believe it or not, is going to save you money. But now you go as a cigar smoker, there's no way in hell, except for Epernay Limon, am I buying a 50-count box without first trying a 5-pack or something, more than a 5-pack of that cigar. To me, and I've said this to Mike before off the air, we've talked, I think the 10-count box, I thought that would be the new norm. That would be the thing. The 20-count box would be gone. I thought the 10-count box would be the new thing, that everybody's going to come out with that. But now, I mean, I know Skip Martin, Croment, they're coming out with a 50-count box. You know, you still got the Illusion and Epernay Limon, they're in a 50-count box. Now, you're talking Limon, Epernay is like $450?
I think it's like $5.
It depends where you buy it. Let's say $400 for a box of 50. You know, I personally don't have $400 just to throw on a box of cigars. But if you're going to go in with a buddy and split it, if you both like it, I could see it. So I think the manufacturer doing it to cut costs. They can save costs by producing that 50-count box. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. I don't care either way. I'm okay with it. But from someone who has smoked cigars, I really got to dig that cigar to buy a 50-count.
Yeah, and well, the other side of the equation, I think, the other reason I can think of that they would be doing it is if you look at the Rocky Patel Edge, when you find the Edge in a shop, it's in like 100-count boxes. They're doing, if they do 50-count boxes, the store can have 50 cigars on the shelf in one spot.
Right.
And, you know, it's another way to get more shelf presence, let's say, for a manufacturer by having a big box on the shelf, because you notice that big box rather than, you know, if you come out with 10-count boxes, they're there.
Right.
You know, that's the only other reason I can think. But I think Mike's right with the cost cutting. I mean, it just saves a little bit of money with taxes, shipping, and everything.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this before. I still believe
10-count.
That someday you're going to, well, not even a 10 count. I think you're going to see the box gone someday. Yeah. I think things are going to be shrink wrapped, or they're going to come up with some kind of, not a box, but a cheaper alternative to packaging the cigars. I think someday the box cigar is going to be eliminated. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion, but we've talked about it a lot. I've always said it from day one. I think it's going to be gone. But, hey, there's a market for 50-count boxes. Go ahead. You're going to save money. You know, if you look at it, you take the 50-count box, the manufacturer's saving money by doing it that way. But if you break it down by cigar, you're saving money by buying that 50-count box if you enjoy that cigar a lot.
It's just a lot out of pocket up front.
Exactly. So that's it. So I hope that answered your question, Pete. We got one more question left, and then we're going to take the chat room question by Old School Wife because we're just about at the hour mark. So is it my turn to ask? Yeah, my turn to ask you. Okay, last question from Mark, and then we'll take Old School Wife's question. Mark said, thanks for all you guys do. Really enjoy watching your show. We appreciate that, Mark. Thank you. Continue watching. Hope to see you in the chat room someday. My question is, if you smoked a bad cigar or a cigar you didn't enjoy, would you honestly say that or keep it to yourself?
Honestly say it. I've done that from day 100%. One. Yeah. Yep, you know, it's I'm not going to throw a cigar under a bus unless it's one of the worst things I've ever had, devil's weed. But other than that, you know, I just if a cigar is out there and if a cigar is selling or sitting on a shop shelf and they're going from a box, somebody likes them. Somebody is buying them. So just because my taste profile does not match what that cigar is trying to put forth doesn't mean I should say it's the most god-awful thing ever made, unless, like I said, is the most god-awful thing ever made.
Right. Yeah.
And it takes a lot for me to say that. Trust me. I think Mike's in the same boat, I think. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Listen, like I said earlier in the show, honestly, say how you feel, but be respectful about it. You know, I'll say it, and I've said it before, and again, I'm going to go back to John Hubert because, you know, I know I can call him a friend, and I know the guy respects on it. When he came out with the 4 kicks, I was the first one to say it wasn't that great of a cigar. The hype, to me, was hyped up more than it was, and to this day, I still feel that way. And I've told John that, and I've told him respectfully, but, you know, again, you know, everything else he's come out with, in my opinion, has been kick-ass. So there's nothing wrong with saying how you honestly feel, but find a way to say it respectfully. You can get your opinion across. And believe it or not, these manufacturers knows that not everybody's going to like a particular line that they come out with. Let's be realistic here, okay? They're not all great, but they're not all bad. You got to find what you like. When you find what you like, you'll go from there because another manufacturer will make something similar to that, and you'll just progress down the line. And if you find something you don't like, you won't smoke it again, and that's okay because you know what? It's your hard-earned dollars. Smoke what you enjoy. Don't smoke shit you don't like, and that's simple.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Yeah. So. All right, well, that's going to do it, except for we're going to answer the last question of the day, and then we're going to wrap this show up. Again, thanks, everybody, for joining us, but I think Old School Wife nailed it by asking this question because we've never been asked it. We always ask it. So go ahead.
All right, Mike, I am going to ask you. I'm going to kill you. You are on your deathbed. What is the last cigar and size that you would smoke?
Simple, easy, it's quick and easy. It's going to be the Headley Grange Estupendos, and I'm going to smoke it slowly. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to make sure in my shirt pocket there are 3 more. So when I die, I can still smoke it in heaven. And I know everybody I ran into says, well, you can't smoke cigars in heaven. I bet if I give him one, he's going to let me smoke it. So it's going to be the Headley Grange Estupendo size, and I'm going to enjoy that son of a bitch right to the cap.
That surprised me. I didn't think you...
You thought I was going to say the Illusion Epernay, right?
Man, you are really getting the ass kissing in today.
I have gotten a lot of ass kissing in. So, John, if you're watching this, nothing but love, brother. So what about you, Mikey? You're on your deathbed. What's it going to be?
You know, I've been thinking about this, and it's like it's really hard for me because of all the cigars I've been smoking. If I could pick a cigar, whether it's still being produced or not, I would probably go with the Face, Tatawahe the Face.
Yeah, that was a good cigar too. Not
the
little
one.
monster.
The original face.
I think you and I are probably two of the people that really enjoyed that cigar, because I remember when I reviewed it, people came up to me and even sent me messages. Hey, really, you like that cigar? I'm like, man, I don't know what you're missing, but it's a home run.
Yeah, that cigar, I think, like I said, I wish it would come into a regular production and still be made. But I even like the fact that the band, you know, is a smokable band. It was just the leaf on it. And I think, you know, coming up to mind right now, that would be it. I was thinking the Luchador, but I'm leading, if it doesn't have to still be produced, I would say the face, definitely, from Tatawahe.
Yeah, it's a great cigar. So, well, Old School Wife, thanks for asking that question. I want to thank everybody in the chat room today for tuning in and wasting an hour of your life with us. And as always, we appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to our feed. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Stogie411. Follow us on Twitter, where you can be found at Stogie411, at Nightrid, and at Hogman21. And stay tuned, and you'll see when our next show is going to be. We're off for a couple weeks. We're taking another little break here. You know, we're getting near the end of summer, so we try to take a little longer just to enjoy ourselves. But thanks for everybody tuning in today, and thanks for all the questions. They were great questions.
Oh, and definitely, if you guys have any more questions, we're going to do more of these shows coming up. So if you have questions, send them in a while, and we'll keep them up. And you know, once either we get enough or we have an open date, we'll go ahead and have another one of these. I enjoy them. I enjoy them myself.
Yeah, we do. We have fun with it. And thanks again to the tobacco company for allowing us to steal your internet. We appreciate that. And always, you guys are great to us. So, again, thanks. And that's all I got. So, till the next time, thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And everybody be safe.
Bye-bye.
See us.